If you want to stop the most accurate shots, move with power and speed, be ready at all times, and put movement combinations together, you're going to need balance. This starts with your stance. If you're in a holding stance where basically your only option is to drop, or the opposite, not drop at all, this is going to put limitations on the saves you're able to execute. Your ability to track the puck, your ability to control rebounds, and your recoveries. Here are 3 steps to move you from a holding stance into a balanced stance. Step number 1, start by standing up tall, chin in a neutral position, shoulders beside your body. For most of us, it'll feel like we have to pull them back a little bit. We want to get that back straight, maintain the small curve in the low back, use the core muscles, the ones at the belt line, to help you maintain that posture. Arms will hang from the shoulders and your feet will just be just over shoulder width apart. Step number 2, sit down. You should feel your weight in your heels of your skates. Do not allow your knees or ankles to collapse in. This will also restrict your ability to move. Alright, step number 3, tilt forward as a unit. Your shoulders should now be in line with your knees and your toes. This is what I call your balance point. Maintaining a straight back, bent at the hips, bent at the knees, bent at the ankles. These are the major components to the effectiveness of the stance. The further your shoulders come out in front of your knees, the harder it's going to be to remain balanced and keep your blocker and glove in front of you. You can rest your lower shin and ankle on the tongue of your skate. This will help ensure the bend in your ankle. You can also adjust the tightness of your laces, exclude lace holes. This will help gain that mobility that you need in your ankle and your skate. I know wax laces also help with variable tension throughout the skate. This will allow some parts to be loose, some parts to be tight. I know other guys struggle with lace bite. Those guys might have to be just a bit more creative. Having your blades flat, like goalie skates are supposed to, can make a huge difference as your skates get sharpened. They sometimes become rockered over time, more like a player skate, making it much more difficult to balance. Your stance is your neutral position. Everything you do is from your stance. Once you figure this out, the other aspects of your game will be much easier to execute. You have to decide if being more comfortable is more important than stopping puck. If you're happy with your current situation, great. If you're not, you may have to make some uncomfortable changes. Once you've dialed in a balanced stance, you'll have a much better ability to move, save energy, as you will not be expending as much energy staying in your stance. This will also increase your patience, as you will not be holding your stance so much, and you won't have to wait. You're not waiting to just like let go all the time. The puck also spends a lot more time in areas of the ice that don't require like a low condensed stance. The more effort you can put in prior to the shot, the better chances are you're gonna make that save. I suggest adjusting your height of your stance based on where the puck is on the ice. Example, if the puck is on the blue line, you may want to remain in a much higher stance and not as crouched down. This will also save a lot of energy. If the puck is below the hash mark, it's okay to get a bit wider at this point. Use your knees to lower yourself rather than leaning your shoulders forward over top of your knees into a holding stance. Having your chest up will also give you a bit better net coverage, better arm movement for your glove, blocker, arm, and shoulder saves. Once you've balanced your stance, you may not be able to drop in the butterfly the same way as before. In a holding stance, goalies tend to rely on wide stances, dropping in that forward motion, which is not the quickest way to drop to the ice, and also relying on pulling their pads in. With wide stances, legs usually straighten out more and decrease leg power for pushing across and moving into saves, among other factors as well. Try to think about your feet coming out of underneath of you and dropping to your knees straight down. As we all know, the fastest route between 2 points is a straight line. The goal is to have your knees land where your toes used to be. You can work on this by starting with your toes on the line and aim to have your knees land on the same line. We don't want to be moving forward as we're dropping because we want to be set and ready as the puck is coming in, ready to absorb it, make that save, or move immediately to that rebound. When you land, you should hear your pads hit the ice. All your weight should be over top of your knees. If it's not, you end up leaning back a little bit, and actually allows pucks to be able to slide underneath of your knees, especially like quick hard shots. This will also help your net coverage, absorbing the puck, seeing pucks that are close to you, especially like right beside your pad, and then able to pull in some rebounds. Also, like when you want to pivot and recover. A big issue that I see with goalies today is dropping on every shot. This opens up the top of the net and makes a goalie very predictable. Lateral movement on your feet can be very difficult. Your ankle, knee, and hip bends are the sources of all your power. If your shoulders are in front of your knees, when you try to lift up or move, there will be a delayed reaction as you'll most likely lift your butt first and not your shoulders. Staying as a complete unit and capturing that power directly through your body is going to be key. If you allow your back to bend through this movement, the bend in your spine will also absorb all that power that you've generated through your ankle, knee, and hip. When you're working on your stance, every time you reset, remember that this is your neutral position, and work on your ability to be able to move both side to side and up and down. I said before, this can be a huge change to the point where it may feel like you're starting over. Be prepared to put the time and the effort in. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave your questions, your comments, and any video suggestions below.